Okay, Coach.
Got a ton of respect for Coach Walker and that Little Rock team. I was reluctant to schedule the game, to be honest with you, because they were picked to win their league. And, coming into this season, they were a top 150 team. Ken Palm, preseason player of the year, was their point guard. And, I knew when we scheduled the game that they were going to be a tough out, and he's done a good job there. And then they've just been absolutely ravaged by injuries. And, again, when coaches are dealing with injuries, they never want to be the one to talk about them. And ultimately you got to try to figure out a way to win games, despite it. But I'll say it for them. Injuries suck. They're a part of the game, and they've just been ravaged by them. But have a lot of respect for them. And again, when we scheduled it, we knew they were having a hard time getting games down in that region, and so we knew what we were signing up for, and just unfortunately they've just been crushed, by injuries. But to their credit, they're still competing, and think by the time they get to league, maybe they get a couple of those guys back, and they'll be competitive right there on our end. I did think it was a quick turnaround, but in some ways, you got to correct some of the wrongs we felt from Saturday. Obviously, Wake was very aggressive with their post double. We did not handle that great there. They put 2 on the ball as well. So you don't always kind of get to play against a similar style right away, but I thought starting kind of with Harlan, thought he did a really good job of handling the double team. Our spacing was good, and then thought really all night long our guys just made simple plays out of the aggressive ball screen coverage, found the open man, and 22 assists on 33 baskets was a good sight from an offensive standpoint. Defensively, was a little disappointed with our defensive rebounding. That's something we'd been really good at, one of the best teams in the country. And we just didn't defensively rebound at the rate that I would have liked. Some of it is they do have length, and we were helping off some guys, so you're in not great rebounding position, but did a little bit better job in the second half, and then was disappointed with how we started the second half defensively, the first 10 minutes, but thought we responded well after that.
So when you've talked about the confidence that you have in Trayson and Honor, when they make 13 out of your 15 threes tonight, how easy is it to just keep them out there?
Yeah, I mean those guys are good shooters. They're good shooters, and again, I thought our spacing and our willingness to share the basketball, they were the recipient. Now Honor, when Honor gets going, he can make some tough ones, as can Trey. But I thought they were on the receiving end of really unselfish play, even to the point I felt like probably overpassed a couple times, but I was fine with that. And those guys are 2 of the better shooters in the country, and got a lot of confidence in those guys. They put a lot of work in, and if they're open, I always think it's going in.
Coach, from Saturday till now, what did you implement and adjust, and what came to fruition tonight?
Yeah, kind of what I mentioned a second ago. So we were able to watch it on Sunday, and then really yesterday, just kind of some of our spacing and just cleaning up some of the patience of our forwards, and knowing the double teams coming and not getting sped up by it, and being comfortable taking it. And you saw like Harlan kind of step through the one time and found maybe it was Honor or Trey, and just tried to get the ball in some more favorable spots. So then when they were double teamed, they weren't in positions that you wouldn't want them to be in. So that was kind of the biggest thing from Saturday till now. That was our emphasis offensively.
After Saturday, how important was it to get the win tonight, but the way you did it with those 2 being able to shoot it well and playing well on offense?
Yeah, you always to play well every night. You want to win every night. Like we always talk about it. I mean, there's you don't really like rate. It's not like a beauty pageant. It's like you either win or you lose. And so in all the games, are the same. They're equally as important. Like if they feel different, but the truth is, if you had beat Clemson, but you lost to Mercyhurst at home, it's like, well, is one game more important than the other game? So we treat every game with the utmost respect, and I thought our guys' response were good. And like I said, mainly I thought what we feel like we needed to do better, it showed up in the game tonight.
Ross, where do you start with Trayson after that game Saturday?
What do you mean?
0 shots is just unusual for a guy who's that skilled.
Yeah, well, you're honest with them, and I've been really honest. With you guys, I felt like Trey had been defending at a really high level, really for this whole year, and he was doing a lot of other little things that were impacting winning, despite maybe not shooting the ball as well as he would have liked. And I'm sure he was up here, and just it was really he gave up. He gave up 4 catch and shoot threes. I mean, he gave up 12 points. So at that point in time, it was just kind of like him, like anybody else. I mean, we're always going to start with like defensive accountability, and if you're not defending at a high enough level, it's just going to be hard for you to be out there. So it was really his defense that limited his offensive abilities on Saturday, which he knew, and again, that's what you love about him, man. He's got a great heart. He's got a great spirit. He holds himself accountable. He's hard on himself. And so it wasn't really like you had to have like any sort of sit down with him or I mean, he knew the reason why, he didn't get to play as much as he would have liked on Saturday.
What does it say about Trayson's character for him to have a performance like that and then come out tonight, make the first shot of the night, arguably have his best night in a WVU uniform? What does it say about just him as a person with him bouncing back from a performance like that?
Yeah, he's got a great heart, man, and he's such a good teammate, and he cares so much about this university and this program and this state, and he cares about his teammates. And like a lot of these guys, probably can feel the weight of that at times, but he's super resilient. And one thing about it, even when he's maybe struggled shooting the ball early, I mean, he never stops working. He's always in the gym. He wants to be coached. He wants to be told the truth. He never runs from accountability. He never points fingers and blames and, well, what about him? Or, there's none of that. There's always extreme accountability, extreme ownership. Combine that with his work ethic, and you're gonna bounce back, and not only will that serve him well for here when he's playing basketball for us, but it's going to serve him really well in life, and it's because, as we know, like life will throw some gnarly stuff at you, a lot more than not scoring as many points as you would have liked in a basketball game. But it's his heart, man. It's his heart for others and his heart for how much he loves this game.
Coach, on the game coming up Saturday, what are your first thoughts on trying to slow down a team that's basically averaging like just under 90 a game?
Yeah, they're really good offensively. I haven't had the chance to really get into studying them from like a scouting report. I watched a little bit of their game against Pitt, but again, it was just kind of on the TV while I think we were preparing to play somebody else probably. And I've looked at their metrics, and yeah, I mean, I think they lead the country in 2-point percentage, and they're experienced. They got one of the most experienced players in the Big Ten with Bruce Thornton, and all Big 12 player. I mean, all Big 10 player. And they can challenge you in a lot of different ways, and we'll have to be razor sharp. And the one thing you can't do, and we talked about this after the Wake Forest game, when you are playing really good offensive teams, a couple things you can't do. You can't give them freebies because you turned it over and just say, here's another like 10 points. Here you go. And you got to be really sound with your game plan execution. And the last thing you want to do, which we did not do a good job on Juke Harris on Saturdays, like you can't give them easy ones because they're going to make hard ones because they're talented and they're going to put you in difficult positions. So you better be doing everything in your power to make it hard on them.
Do you, from just from like a mental aspect kind of the game, do you guys sort of need to get one of these games before you get into Big 12 play? Is that an important aspect at all?
I want to win every game. I want to win every game. Every game we ever play. I want to step on that floor, and whether it's Wheeling or Duke, we want to win that game. I know what you're saying psychologically, but, I think more than anything, you want to win. And we've been in position. We put ourselves in positions to, and we just got to finish it. And you're playing a great team. Like I said, we've been kind of, even in Charleston, South Carolina, it felt like a road home, and obviously Saturday was home, even though it was not in your gym. But this one's probably going to be more road neutral, even though I'm sure we'll have a great turnout because it's not that far. But you want to win it because it's the next game on your schedule. It's another big opportunity in the non-league, which is your last opportunity for those quad 1, quad 2s, and again, it's like kind of like the Pitt game. We talked about the Pitt game. It's not something we shy away from. We talk about it, and our guys know it and understand it. Truth is, if you win it, it's not like you're a lock for the NCAA tournament. You lose it, you're not an anti-lock. There's a lot of basketball left, and it's the beauty of being in the Big 12 is you're going to have so many opportunities within your league, but you certainly want to try to take advantage of opportunities when you get them in the non-league as well.
Do you take, like you had mentioned, how the Clemson game was kind of a neutral road game? Do you take things and learn from that game on how this environment might be and how your team should play in that game?
Yeah, that wasn't really no neutral road game. I don't know if y'all were down there. That was a neutral home game. Even though it was in South Carolina, there was a lot of blue and gold in that building that night, and so yeah, it was. I mean, that was still even down there. That was 70-30. 70-30, 80-20, Mountaineers. And like, all these guys tell me, Ben and Mess and Brad and Tony, they're like, we show up. Like, we'll show up. And they did. And that's what was so disappointing, on top of not winning the game, just not being able to reward even the people down there in Charleston. Like, you want those moments to be special and you want to be able to deliver in those moments, and just came up a little short. But another good opportunity, and this one will probably, I would imagine, I don't know exactly the ticket, but I would imagine it would have maybe a little more tilt that way, but you never know.
Ross, by your estimation, how much are you getting double teamed?
Oh, man, that's a good question. We've, I'd say, we played 11 games now. I mean, it feels like probably like 7. Do what now? Yeah. Probably feels like 7.
Does that surprise you with your shooters and the way you want to space?
I think sometimes, but then when you look at some maybe other times when we haven't handled the double team great, or you kind of got to pick your poison, so to speak. It made sense with Wake because I think they do it not only as a way to prevent you from scoring, but to fuel their defense and get deflections and get some easies, which we obliged them in that category. So, I think you got to look at it 2 different ways, and I think each team has to, figures out, okay, what are we going to live with? What are we willing to sacrifice? And sometimes it's to prevent foul trouble. I've been in those. Sometimes we double team the post. We've double teamed the post this year, and sometimes it's like, well, when we didn't have Chance and Jackson, and we were playing Pitt at home, we're like, man, we better double team the post because we can't afford anybody to get in foul trouble. So people do it for a myriad of reasons.
And then, obviously, Honor's shooting is that's a weapon just when he makes them. But the effect he has when he's just taking shots that are barely open and they're going in, it seems like it has an effect on the defense, too, that I can't believe you took that shot. I can't believe you made that shot.
Yeah.
And they're always stressing. And you make it hard for 25, 30 seconds anyways. Never mind the makes. What is just the take
Yeah, it's like we talked about. It's just the gravity, man. And I hate to do this, because like my wife tells me comparison is the thief of joy. So I don't like comparing people, but there is a Steph Curry effect with it, especially when you're at home. Like even on Saturday, like they're just 3 points, but they feel like 10-point shots. In particular, when you're at home, even though they're 3 points, but yeah, just the energy and the excitement when he starts making shots, and then the gravitational pull and awareness, and then you start opening up, like DJ on Saturday, you had 2 people run out to him, and all of a sudden he's dropping a pass, and DJ's shooting a layup because of his gravitational pull, and he's unique in that ability, man.
Coach, since Chance came back, really, I guess what I'm thinking is like maybe the Xavier game is probably the only game that he didn't have like a real impact in. That's his second game back. So, I mean, the impact that he's had early since his return, any surprise there at all? What's his ceiling, I guess?
Yeah, not surprised, because he's an experienced player. I mean, he was a top 100 player coming out of high school, went and played on was a part of a really good tournament team at Arkansas, and like a lot of young players, couldn't quite find his way there at that time, and then averaged 13-6 on a really good St. Bonaventure's team, and he's just we've talked. He's just so physical with his ability to drive the basketball, and just gets on top of people really quick, and can get on the rim, and he has that quick second jump. Like sometimes it's like he don't miss it on purpose, but sometimes like, are you just throwing this up there so you can jump back up and tip it in, and he's I just think his habits overall, man, like we really challenged him, like all these guys, just like his defensive habits and his practice habits and his commitment to all the other things, and he's really grown in a lot of those areas. And so it's always cool, when you have challenged mildly, challenge these guys and then to see kind of the fruits of their labor pay off.
So like when he comes in, not really in the middle of the season, but after the start, you've already had a group playing the whole way. Does he come in and it doesn't seem like he was worried about like stepping on toes or anything like that. He just kind of came in and did his own thing, I guess. And is that just kind of who he is? Or?
Yeah, I think too, like we talked about, he's just so different than anything else we have, and it's, when you're putting a puzzle together, and you're putting this puzzle of a team together, and you got your point guards, and you got your shooting, and you got your size, and just he really is, really the only. Amir can really get in the paint, and he puts rim pressure on people, but there's a physicality that Chance does it with that's just so different than anybody else. And again, our guys, these guys, it's real. They are as supportive of a group of guys that I've been around in a short amount of time, and how they pull for each other, and they're very self-aware. There's a self-awareness. Honor knows that he can't do what Chance does, and Chance knows that he can't do what Belo does, and Belo knows he can't do what Trey does, and there's a willingness and acceptance amongst the group that we're going to need everybody. If we're going to do what we're going to want to do, we're going to need everybody.
My next question, they recognize what he...
Yeah. Yeah, they're mature. It's a super mature group, an intelligent group, and self-aware.
Anything else? Coach, thank you.
Thank y'all. Y'all be safe and stay warm.